And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there isn't such a thing as a silent witness. It is January the 28th. We are going to try to go back to YouTube. Truth be told, Rick, YouTube is the biggest out there. There's nothing close to the reach and the scope of YouTube. But they've been shadow banning us for the last, 3 years or whatever. So we're going to go back. We're going to start putting videos back on YouTube. We'll see if we can get anywhere close to our subscription, which is just under 5,000. It should have been close to 1 million by now had we kept the same growth before they started shadow banning us. But we're going to go back on YouTube and see if we can start building up our audience again. I know a lot of people who have said YouTube kicked them off the subscription, but we'll see. So welcome back. I'm here with Rick. Rick, how are you?
I'm doing great, Pastor.
We're discussing the end times as usual. What we usually do is we give videos on the updates of the war with Israel in the Middle East, and then we usually discuss a spiritual topic concerning eschatology. This one will be the agreement that Israel makes with Antichrist. Comes out of Daniel 9, 26 and 27. We'll look at those verses and discuss. But for now, we're going to look video to update what's going on in the Middle East. The first one here is the list of hostages that Israel got from Hamas, right? I don't trust lists, be honest with you, Rick. We don't trust what Hamas said.
Yeah, but Israel said they confirmed from all their intelligence. It looks good. It looks good, but there's always surprises with Hamas.
How far can I trust Hamas, though? As far as I can throw him, and I can't throw him. So, all right, here's the first list.
All right,
here's the first video.
I can confirm that Israel has received from the Hamas terrorist organization, a list that includes the status of all of the 33 hostages due to be released in this first stage. The list from Hamas matches Israel's intelligence. So I can share with you that 25 of our hostages are alive and 8 have been killed by Hamas. Families of the hostages were informed of the status of their loved ones. Let me share with you further details with our latest information. As of today, 90 hostages are being held captive by Hamas in Gaza. 7 Israelis have been released as part of this agreement on the 19th and 25th of January. 87 of the remaining 90 hostages were taken hostage on October the 7th, 2023. 3 hostages have been held by Hamas since 2014. Israel believes that 35 of the remaining 90 hostages have been killed by Hamas, yet their bodies remain held by Hamas in Gaza. This includes Hadar Goldin, taken captive in 2014, and 34 taken hostage on October 7th. Of the 87 people taken hostage on October 7th, 81 are male, 6 are female, and that includes the 2 children under the age of 5 years old. That's Ariel and Kfir Bibas. 77 are Israeli nationals, though they may hold other nationalities. 10 are foreign nationals, 8 from Thailand, 1 Nepalese national, and 1 Tanzanian. To date, a total of 165 hostages have been released or rescued. Of those 165, 124 were recovered alive, 41 were recovered dead, killed by Hamas.
Rick, I still have a problem with these hostages. I don't want to talk. Give me all of my hostages before we can talk about any type of peace. I don't understand the Israeli mindset. I don't.
I thought there was 5 or 6 American Israelis in the hostage. He didn't say anything about America. He was saying there's...
Because he was updating the Israeli people, it looks like, right?
Yeah, but he said if they had an Israeli... Well, he did say these are the Israeli... They may have dual citizenship, so... He didn't specifically mention, but I think there's 4 or 5 American hostages there too still.
But I do see the wisdom in that we don't negotiate with terrorists. That seems sort of foolish, Rick. I've stolen 17 of your kids and grandkids, and we're going to talk about a ceasefire. So I got 17, but I'll give you 3 back today, Rick. How about that? I'm going to give you back 3 today, and we'll discuss about the other 14 I'm going to keep. But, let's talk about peace and stopping the war. But I still got 14, but I'm going to give you back 3.
No,
No, I don't give me all of them back. I'm not going to piecemeal my kids coming back to me. Give me all of them back, else I'm going to keep bombing you. I'm going to keep shooting you. I'm going to keep killing you until you give me all. The negotiations give all of my kids back. Give them all back.
Yeah,
we're not going to talk.
I know.
Yeah, that's what gets me. It gets me, man. It's just.
Well, they wouldn't have gone along with it. The hostages is their only bargaining chip that they have, and they're going to hang on to those people as long as
exactly.
they can.
They're going to play games. They're going to string it out.
Yep.
No. See now, boy.
But thankful for the ones that they got back, and then they're releasing anywhere from 30 to 50 terrorists for each live person they bring back to Israel.
It's foolishness. I love them. I love every hostage, but I do see you are encouraging more hostage taking.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In the future by doing this.
I totally agree.
Making Israel. Now, maybe their thinking is we're not encouraging more hostages taken from Hamas in the future because there won't be a Hamas in the future.
Well,
maybe that's their thinking.
It needs to get to there.
Yeah, it does. So, all right, here's the next one. They're talking about the conditions of the hostages they're getting back. Here we go.
These young ladies faced an emotional and medically complex road to recovery. Daniela, 20, still has a bullet in her leg after she was shot by Hamas. There are fears for their vision for the future after some spent 15 months or most of 15 months underground. Our doctors have tailored programs to nurse them back to health. We, of course, remember the horrific images of their battered and bloodied faces when they were captured in their pajamas. Who can forget one of the most sickening images from that day showed Naama Levy being dragged by her hair in bloodied pajamas as she was thrown into a back of a truck and taken into Gaza. The girls have told their families about a pita or 2 a day until their stomachs swelled. They were made to cook for their captors, but forbidden from eating. They were held in tunnels in the dark. Their doctors have said that mentally they're still a long way to go and it's too soon to say precisely of their condition, and doctors are braced for them to have lost part of their vision and had to have developed skin conditions, hearing difficulties after so long underground in cramped, squalid surroundings. Medics have also been concerned that Hamas may have drugged them, and this may explain why the 4 girls were seen smiling ecstatically as they were paraded in front of terrorists in their sickening handover ceremonies.
You've seen those handover ceremonies, right? They are demonic. No, give me all my kids back. I'm not talking to you. Give me all my kids back. That's. There seems to be something drastically wrong with just getting part of them back. I don't know what it is about me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I got 3 sons, so you're gonna give me 1 son and keep the other 2? No, I want all of them back now. I just
there's so many parties involved, and the main thing, who's the main sponsor between the 2 parties? Qatar.
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 Oh, it was Qatar. What's the other one?
It used to be Egypt.
Not Egypt. The other one. The other one that was not was it Qatar that they're a terrorist state.
Yeah. Well, Qatar.
What was the other one? Not Qatar. It was the other one, wasn't it? What's the other country that was brokering this deal? Was it Qatar?
Egypt was involved in it first, and then Qatar took over. I don't know, but anyway, Qatar is.
Okay.
They sponsored Hamas.
Maybe it was Qatar. Yeah,
Qatar. They sponsored the terrorism, Hamas, and all the terrorism against Israel. And here, hey, we want to see the destruction of Israel, and we're gonna make this great peace plan. But it's gonna benefit our guys.
No. Yeah. Give me all my kids back. I'm not talking to you. Well, we'll give you one of your sons back. We'll give you 2 of your sons back. No, give me all 3 of them back. I'm not talking to you. Give me all 3 of them back. Right. I'm going to keep bombing you. To the best of my ability. I'm going to wipe you out until you give me all of my kids back. There just seems to be something horrifically wrong with them giving some of them back but keeping other ones. I don't know what it is.
Their psychological, emotional warfare.
Yeah, well, I'm a psychological, emotional. The worst psychological and emotional warfare is to put you 6 feet under, and that's what Israel should continue to do. But Rick, I think it's bad. It's just bad. You can't do that. You're encouraging more.
I know, but they're so limited.
All of them back.
They're limited by the liberal part of Israel. They're limited by all the U.S. The political. You're right about the political situation ties their hands.
Maybe with Trump, maybe they'll be different. Now that he just gave them the 2,000 bomb and whatnot. We'll see. All right, this is the U.S. ambassador to Israel.
Yeah, Mike Huckabee.
Mike Huckabee. He's very clear, very concise, straightforward. Go, Mike, go.
Do you believe that President Trump believes, and you do believe, that the two-state solution is the future?
No. I think we have to recognize there was a Palestinian state. It was called Gaza. Look how that turned out. You can't have a Palestinian state on top of the Israeli state if the Palestinians continue to believe that Israel shouldn't exist. Because the Palestinians don't believe in a two-state solution. They believe in a one-state solution, and their solution, and Israel disappears. That's no solution whatsoever. Israel has a right to its autonomous, indigenous homeland that they've had for 3,500 years since the days of Abraham.
Can we just talk about how, like, Huckabee just said no when he said, do you believe in a two-state solution?
No.
Like a very decisive no.
No.
And he goes all the way back to Abraham. And said, this is an ancient covenantal land with a covenantal people. This belongs to the people of Israel. There cannot be another state inside the land. And when you understand that evil exists in the world, this is well documented. When Hitler was at the end of the war, he needed to make a decision. Could he send reinforcements to the front lines and maybe win the war, or send the supplies and resources to continue to annihilate the Jews? And Hitler irrationally sent resources instead of winning the war to just continue to kill the Jews as best as he could before he was taken out.
It wasn't irrational because that's his war.
Exactly. When we understand that the prime motivation has nothing to do with politics, when October 7th, no one was screaming free Palestine. It was a spiritual, religious war hell-bent against the Jews, and establishing anything outside of Jewish sovereignty in God's given land to the people of Israel will never work.
It will never work.
You know, it's so nice, the clarity now. There's no ambiguous, them straddled the fence and, I'm for Israel and I'm for Hamas and back and forth. Yeah. This is just straightforward truth.
On this issue, yes. And the argument goes where Israel is not perfect. Heck, the United States is far from perfect.
Oh, yeah.
No one's talking about the perfection of Israel. I do believe that they are a people in rebellion to God. That's true, but they're still Israelites. They're still of the seed of Abraham. And while Israel is not perfect and will never be perfect until Christ comes back to make us perfect, Israel's not perfect. You can't wipe away October 7th.
No.
I'm sorry. No, you can't do it. You can't do it. There's no justification for it. And you can't wipe away again the fact that they still have hostages. Not criminals, hostages.
Innocent citizens.
Yeah, so forget all of that. All right, Stefanik. We have Stefanik here. She is ambassador to the UN. And you still have people who they don't get the moral clarity.
No, they don't.
Here we go.
Stefanik, let me just ask you. I have 30 seconds left. I'm rarely surprised by answers in my office, but I did ask you whether you subscribe to the views of Finance Minister Smotrich,
Who? I'm sorry, finance.
Smotrich. This is the Israeli Finance Minister Smotrich and the former National Security Minister Ben-Gvir, who believe that Israel has a biblical right to the entire West Bank. And in that conversation, you told me that, yes, you shared that view. Is that your view today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
There's no argument, no discussion.
Why do people not understand that? There was a 6-day war in which they lost.
Right.
And they gave up the West Bank, they gave up Gaza, they gave up part of the Golan Heights.
The rest of the second half of the west side of Jerusalem.
It's right, the east
side.
I think it's the east side. I get mixed up too.
But they gained all.
They lost.
They lost.
They lost. Anybody else would have kicked everybody else mercilessly off the land. They lost. What are you not clear about that? You know this. I almost messed up and called him an idiot. I mean, he's not an idiot. Well, I don't know if he's an idiot, but I shouldn't call him an idiot. It's like arguing, should we give Texas back? Should we give New Mexico back to Mexico? California? You do realize that. I mean, those are the arguments you want to have.
Yeah. But, when it comes to Israel, everything changes. I mean, everything changes. Lies and deceit.
Yeah. But for America to be on our high hill, high and mighty soapbox, come on, man. Come on.
Right. We have enough problems of our own without pointing our finger at other countries.
Yeah. I went to Puerto Rico. We went to Puerto Rico twice within the span of 8 months. We loved it. And on the tour, my wife and I took, the man told us how he came into possession of Puerto Rico. How when Spain was just down and out and they were hurting, America said, well, you sank the ship. We declared war. With the ship they were talking about, I think it was 50 years ago. And Spain recognized what was going on. It's like, okay, what do you want? We want Cuba, Puerto Rico. You can have it, fine. It's fine. I mean, just declared a crazy made-up war just so they could just take stuff from a country that was down and out, Spain and stuff. So, but come on, man. Come on. But anyway, all right, here's Stefanik before the UN. Here she is.
Let's have a watch.
Because if you look at the anti-Semitic rot within the United Nations, there are more resolutions targeting Israel than any other country, any other crisis combined. And we have significant national security councils, the anti-Semitism, whether it's UN Women failing to condemn Hamas's terrorist attack and terrorist regime against innocent civilian women, using rape and targeting women, specifically taking them hostage. I am overjoyed that those 3 young women hostages were returned home. We need to stay committed to ensuring every hostage is brought home. I've met with many hostage families. This position, we need to be a voice of moral clarity on the UN Security Council and at the United Nations at large, for the world to hear the importance of standing with Israel. And I intend to do that. This year will mark the 50th year since the disgraceful Zionism is Racism resolution at the United Nations. And at the time, our U.S. Ambassador, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, spoke out strongly against that disgraceful resolution. That is the type of leadership that I hope to bring, if confirmed, to the United Nations. And President Trump has a tremendous record when it comes to standing with Israel, whether it's the Abraham Accords, whether it's his commitment to combating anti-Semitism, or recognizing Jerusalem as the eternal capital of Israel. This is a strong, strong record, and I hope to do that at the UN if confirmed.
There we go.
Just right, straight and narrow. No ambiguity.
No ambiguity.
So we have Huckabee, the ambassador to the United States, Stefanik, ambassador to the UN, President Trump, pro-Israel, and Marco Rubio is hugely pro-Israel. So
is it that they're pro-Israel or that they're pro-sanity? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
October 7th, you're going to try to defend that? That's insane.
Yes, it is.
That's insane. They still have hostages, and you want to force a peace treaty, and you want Israel to go into a peace treaty while they still have their hostages? That's insane. That's insane. But hey, I guess common sense is no longer common. I guess now.
Well, some of it's starting to come back, so that's a
hopefully, yes.
That's a breath of fresh air to see. Sanity coming back.
Yes. All right. Here's our spiritual discussion to end this time with you. Daniel, let me just read it. Daniel 9:26 and 27. And after the 62 weeks, an anointed one shall be cut off and shall have nothing. I believe that is referencing the crucifixion of Christ, right? After 62 weeks, referencing of Christ, cut off and have nothing. And the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Now, there's some debate on that. I'll be honest. I'm open for change on that, because the prince, the people shall come, be cut off. Rick, how do you interpret that?
I think that was talking about the Roman destruction of the temple.
When Titus comes.
When Titus came in 70 A.D. And then the Jewish people were dispersed all over the world since then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Yeah. Its end shall come with a flood, and to the end there shall be war. What's the flood and what's war, Rick? Because I'm not sure about those things.
I'm not real clear on it yet. All I know is that Israel's rejection of their Messiah, they killed their Messiah, thinking because they were looking for a king and a military.
I think that's clear. But the end shall come with the flood.
The flood. I mean, what the Romans came in? How many? There was 1.5 million or 2 million Jews killed when the Romans came in.
Yeah, but I don't know if necessarily was it a war, and to the end there shall be war. It wasn't war. They just wiped Israel off the map, right? I don't know how much of a war it was.
Right.
Titus, they couldn't stand before Titus and the Roman legions. Yeah, you know what? I'm open to that, because I don't take a stand on it, because I don't understand it, to be honest with you. I don't know it. Desolations are decreed, verse 27, and he shall make a strong covenant with many for 1 week. So see, I think picking up with that, I think 2070 goes towards the Antichrist, right? How do you switch from Titus to Antichrist in verse 27? I'm not clear on that. I don't know.
It's prophecy is difficult because there's always a historical precedent and a future precedent, and sometimes it's hard to discern between when one starts and one stops, and it's. When we see it, we'll know it. But
I think we'll know it. But given 26, so and the people of the ruler or leader who is to come, I think that's the Romans, shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. I think that is Titus. I think that's right. The end shall come with a flood, and at the end there shall be war. I think you actually switch from Titus to end times right there. I'm not sure. This is the creed. And he shall make, but the he there I think is the Antichrist. He shall make a strong covenant with many for 1 week, and for half of the week he shall put an end to sacrifice and offering. So that 1 week is what? 7 years.
7 years.
He shall make a strong covenant with many for 1 week, and for half of the week, that's 3.5.
Right.
He shall put an end to sacrifice and offerings. So we're told midway through the tribulation, he declares himself to be God, even though it's not clear here. He goes into the Holy of Holies, and he proclaims himself to be God.
Right.
At that point, sacrifices to Yahweh is done.
Right.
And so that's what it means that he will put an end to sacrifice and
temple
offering.
Is desecrated. So the temple does have to be rebuilt.
Yeah, and you know what? But I've talked to some Israelis. The temple in the form of the temple can also mean tabernacle.
Right.
Which means a tent.
Right, correct.
So, no, that ain't right. That can't be right. Because you have in, unless you have in Revelation 11, it says measure the temple.
Yeah.
You can actually have a tabernacle up, a tent, while you're measuring the temple and building the temple.
Right.
And if it takes 3.5 years, maybe I don't know. I think there's a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah, there is. But there's they have the priesthood. They have the high priest. They have the Sanhedrin.
They appointed the high priest for the first time in 2022 for the first time in 2,000 years.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. But
I forget exactly.
They have the high priest. They have the Sanhedrin is in place.
Yes, correct.
They have plans for the temple.
Yep.
They have all the temple artifacts ready to go. So I don't think it'll take them long to build it if they decide.
I don't know.
But it's going to be fascinating to see how much of this happens right before our eyes and how quickly it happens.
Hopefully. And for half the week he shall put an end to sacrifice and offerings. And on the wing of abominations, Christ referenced this directly in Matthew 24, right? And on the wing of abominations shall come one who makes desolate, until the decreed end is poured out on the desolator. So we have that. But here's the key to all of this. And he shall make a strong covenant with many for 1 week.
So it doesn't say specifically Israel. It doesn't say who it is, but I would think it would have to be the enemies of Israel who are trying to...
Because 26, 27 is actually talking about Israel.
Right.
And Jerusalem. And then in 27 you actually have the abomination who makes desolate.
Right.
Which is tied to the temple, right?
Right.
So you're right, but I think a strong covenant with many, that seems like the UN, in which is going to be a conglomerate.
Well, it could be
covenant with many people.
It could be.
So if you have Trump that comes with the Abrahamic Accord,
there's 22 other Arab nations that
22 Arab nations, and if the U.S. comes in and enforce, and the EU comes in and enforce, and somehow you don't need Russia and China to do it. That's plenty right there.
Right.
That's a strong covenant with many.
Yeah.
A strong covenant, so strong he's going to break it halfway through, right?
Well, that's another reason why Hamas started the war, because Saudi Arabia was getting ready to sign on to the Abraham Accord, and now they're kind of in the middle of the road here, back and forth. So.
Yeah. Well, no, they're not going to be in the middle of the road once Hamas is eliminated altogether.
Right.
And Hezbollah, and I think they're going to go after Iran. I think they're going after Iran too. But here's the thing. And I'll end it with this. You do know when we talk about this, and maybe we can talk about this another time. When it talks about the Antichrist rising, it says the Antichrist will go south and east to the glorious land. That means he's northwest of Jerusalem.
Right.
And that prophecy is giving when he's talking about the 4 kingdoms split from the king of Greece. And so if you look at the kingdoms of the Greece, when Alexander the Great dies, and you look at his kingdom, if you go northwest from Jerusalem, and you look at the land that's there, what I mean is the land of Alexander the Great, there's only one nation, I think, that fits the bill. And that's Turkey. And now what's going on? Assad is gone.
Turkey
Syria's
is looking
gone.
to come into Syria.
Syria's the one that started. Trump even said that. Everyone knows Trump affirmed it. And now Iran is going to go. I think they're going. I think Israel's not going to stop now. And they even said, I don't know if you saw it, Rick, they asked J.D. Vance, I think it was J.D. Vance, Israel's real close to having no, it was Trump. Israel's real close. Iran is real close to having a nuke. What are you going to do? He said they can't have a nuke. They can't have it.
Israel's not going to let that happen, whether the United States helps them or not.
And Trump said it too. They can't have a nuke.
Yeah.
But they're only 5 months away. They can't have a nuke.
Right.
He said that. So Syria's gone. I think Iran's about to go. Who's going to be the dominant force in the Middle East now? It's Turkey. It's Erdogan. He's the only one standing. He's the one that toppled them Syria anyway, right?
Yeah.
By flooding. So it seems as though Turkey is starting to move up in prominence in the Middle East.
Yep.
So I don't know.
But he's all talk. He's not much on action. So far.
So far he is. So.
But it's fascinating, everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So. All right. Thank you all. This marks our comeback to YouTube. We've waited out the globalists who were censoring us for many years. Seems like now. Oh, wow. It sounds weird to you to say. But we'll see. We're back on YouTube now. We're going to keep posting on Rumble and other platforms, but we'll see how this goes. But as always, Rick, thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you all for listening. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
such a time as this.